Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Didn't hit either one. Here's Love. Love, can history repeat itself? And Kansas State extends their winning streak to 6.
You know, down the stretch, when we need something to go, and, you know, the guys look for me to make those plays, you know, I take pride in moments like that, you know, because, you know, my mindset is I never want to let them down.
I feel like I gave a huge spark. Just coming in the game, just helping everybody get involved, just being active on defense. And I feel like my defense can result in good offense.
There's the lob. Adams got it.
You know, it was a W. It was pretty bland. I thought the most exciting plays of the game, no question, was when we could get the ball to KJ on short rolls.
It was a tough night in Haven for the Washington Cardinals as they lose the doubleheader. The Haven Wildcats won the girls' contest by a score of 54-42, and the boys were also losers to Haven. Final score in the boys' game, 49-27.
The Larned Lady Indians played host to the Lady Beavers of Scott City, and it was Scott City pulling away at the end, 55-42.
I was shocked too, because when I got there, I known that the tush push, but I didn't know if that's what it would be called, but I thought it was called that, and it's not called a tush push, actually.
No. What is your role in the quote-unquote tush push?
I think I have the easiest job, to be honest. I think I'm the one who pushes the tush.
Nothing better than late night TV.
Thanks for staying up and watching that last night. That was a good soundbite.
Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. The Wednesday show. It's a snow day. Why are we here? Didn't we get snowed out today?
We made our decision in the morning, and it had only snowed 2 inches instead of the 5 that were called for.
Okay, yeah. A lot of other people played basketball last night. We got doubleheader basketball coming up next couple days. We'll talk about that on the show today, as we will be talking high school basketball with Great Bend girls coach Jade Winter. She'll be joined by Cassie Elligood in studio along with Alex Mayers. The voice of the Kansas State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson, will recap last night's win over 13th-ranked Arizona. He'll talk about the Wildcats' recent surge, where they lost 6 in a row. Now they've won 6 in a row. 4 of those against ranked teams. I guess we'll ask him, how do you do that?
I know they're already talking tournament implications, but at the moment, I just need some respect in the rankings.
Well, they're 13 and 11.
Yeah, but what's it going to... Can't hold it against them forever, can you? Yes, you can. That's the way the system works.
We're going to just fold off and just call all the games before January 1st exhibition games.
Well, if you're in the National Football Playoffs and you're 13-0 and you lose your last game, that could cost you, so it's got to work on the flip side. If you do well late, you should be rewarded.
Well, just keep winning.
I buy into that theory.
Okay, so and by the way, and the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Welbrock, joins us. So there's her show. Let's get to the sounds of the past 24 hours or so. The call last night on ESPN Plus. Cats surviving 2 missed free throws, half-court heave by Arizona's Caleb Love. He didn't make it a half-court shot this time. Wasn't even close, threw it over the backboard. And K-State knocks off 13th-ranked Arizona. K-State's 6th straight win. That was Doug McDaniel, the former Michigan Wolverine, scored a career-high, season-high 24 points. David Gasson, he's the old man on the team. He's like been around for a long time. He had 16 points, 7 rebounds for the resurgent Wildcats. McDaniel finished with 5 steals, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, talking about being the guy that his teammates can rely on. C.J. Jones added 10 points. Once again gave the Cats first-half boost when he entered the game.
And I claimed to be a fan, but I didn't know Doug McDaniel's name until Saturday when they played KU. But I told you the other day, he's coming along, D-U-G.
Doug.
So he was averaging about 10.5 points a game and goes 24 last night.
And Jones was starting before the conference season started. And then he hasn't started. He comes off the bench, and he's playing, I don't know, 18, 19 minutes a game, but it seems like he always makes an impact, especially in the first half.
And what about the nickname, Hassan Amarillo Assassin? I'd start him just for that. But supposedly the kid is just a lights-out shooter, sporadic so far.
He's made some big ones during this stretch. Everybody's making shots right now. K-State off until Saturday when they traveled west to take on BYU. So Wyatt Thompson will talk K-State coming up here in just a little bit. In Lawrence, KU using the high-flying KJ Adams to help them pass Colorado. That was an inbounds play as the shot clock was winding down. He was kind of like Ian Premer-like, going up to get that shot, and KU goes on to beat Colorado. Last night, 71-59. Bill Self on the win. Yeah, it was a win. Colorado's lost 13 in a row.
And that was a 1.8 seconds on the shot clock under the baseline. Everybody knows probably who's going to, but it still happens. But he had another key tip out later that led to a three-pointer that was kind of the final nail in the coffin.
I like KJ, man. I just wish he had somebody else to go with him, that they could tie him on, and if he wanted to take a jump shot, that guy that was tied to him would take the jump shot out for a three.
Here's my scouting ability. Looks like it's going to be a runaway at halftime. Colorado comes back, got a couple kids hitting threes, and I'm like, man, that kid's got a sweet shot. And they say, he's only shooting 29% on the year. Oh, well, he looks good tonight.
But he keeps taking them. He keeps
Put
taking
them.
them.
Can't make them if you don't make.
Yeah, everybody can shoot a three. Can you make the three? So Kansas State now 7-6 in Big 12 play. They're 13-11 overall. And they're tied now with BYU and Baylor in the conference standings. They are just one game behind Kansas, who is in 5th place now. Then you have Iowa State 9-4, Texas Tech 9-3. Arizona dropped to 11-2, so they're a game now behind first place Houston. Amazing turnaround. We'll talk about it with Wyatt Thompson. More college basketball tonight. Barton Cougars at home. They will take on Seward County, who will make the drive up from Pancake Town. The Barton men 13-5, 19-5 overall. Great conversation with Cole Reif yesterday, talking about what's it going to look like in postseason play. Barton just needs to keep winning. This will be a big one to get tonight. Seward, it's just amazing to me. Look at the standings, see Seward County in last place on the men's side. 2-15, 3-19. Lady Cougars, they're 8-10, 12-12. And a chance of hosting a first-round game in the postseason tournament are starting to fade. They need to knock off Seward tonight, who comes in with a record of 11-6 and 16-7. So we'll see if the Lady Cougars can get that done tonight. 5:15 pregame with Cole Reif on B104.3 The Point. High school basketball tonight. The Hoiston Cardinals ventured to Haven last night. And, of course, Mike Escher has to come in. And, the first time I had a snowflake fall on me was when I got to the Hoisington Veterinary Clinic. That was on the way back. So I don't think he had any trouble.
So
the trip didn't have any trouble. The Cardinals did last night. They were taking on Haven, 2 ranked teams. Haven boys taking care of Hoiston 49-27, and the Haven girls. Got a pretty good battle from Larned, but Haven finally prevailed. Haven's number 9 in Class 3A, 54-42. Gary Wagner with the game wrap last night. As Scott City in town, they won the boys' game 72-28. They won the girls' game by the score of 55-42. Big game last night in Claflin, where the Ellenwood girls brought back memories of Kyle Cree walking the sidelines.
Yes.
As they came up with a win over Central Plains, 57-51. You got some numbers on this one, Mike.
So, Lady Eagles, super young still. Leading scorer, Reese Stickney, been out with an injury, going to be out. So, how are they still ranked? How are they still beating teams? Freshman, McKenna Bryant, 5 threes, 3 of them in the third quarter, 15 points. Freshman, Meta Maxwell, 4 3-pointers, 14 points. Junior, Julius Schlesinger, 13 points, a lot of rebounds. So
I've got 9 3-pointers there.
And there was probably some more because it was decent scoring up and down the lineup. But, going back to Kyle Cree, Central Plains in 2015 had a streak of 44 games going. Reagan Phelan, Taylor Rolfs, that generation of girls. Kyle Cree takes them down. So then the next win that Central Plains had started their 138-game win streak. So if Kyle Cree and the Lady Eagles don't win that night, that state record is 173 games instead of 138. So that was the last time they beat them. 2015, 0-14 since. Couple of those losses by 70-plus points, couple by 50-plus. So this was a huge win for Ellenwood.
Okay, in the boys' game, a very good ball game. Central Plains pulls it out 50-46. We'll have Ellenwood Eagles in here tomorrow on the program, as we'll have head coach Jerron Lane. The 3 seniors will be in to talk some Ellenwood basketball tomorrow, but they fall last night 50-46. That was following a win in Houston against the Houston Cardinals. Maxville boys win last night 66-43. How about Otis Bison? St. John's feeling their oats a little bit, knocked off Central Plains. Don't forget about those Cougars who come in and beat St. John last night 45-41. That game was in Otis. And let's see, lacrosse winners last night. They beat Chase 59-25. The rest of the girls' scores, it was St. John over Otis Bison 68-27. And Maxville beat Kinsley 46-28. Lacrosse beating Chase 55-8. In the Western Athletic Conference, Great Bend at Dodge postponed until tomorrow. McPherson at Hayes postponed until Monday. On the boys' side, Lakin defeating Liberal 77-46. And the Liberal girls now ranked 9th in Class 6A. They beat Lakin 67-33. That'll be a good girls' game coming up on Friday in Hayes. Liberal and the Hayes High Indians for the WAC championship.
Might even be there.
Rankings came out yesterday. Great Bend remains number 4 in Class 5A boys. Highland Park, KC Piper, and Cape and Mount Carmel. Then Great Bend, Bonner Springs, Andover, Topeka Seaman, Shawnee Heights 8, Emporia 9. We've seen that Emporia team. They gave the Panthers all they wanted back in December at the Fieldhouse here in Great Bend. And Kansas City, Washington. Pratt ranked 8th in 4A. 3A boys, Haven number 2 in 3A. Heston number 6 from the Central Kansas League. And Hillsboro's number 9 in 2A boys. 1A Division I boys, Central Plains ranked 8th, Maxville 9th, and Hodgman County number 7 in 1A D2 boys. Victoria is number 10. On the girls' side, Liberal moving into the 6A rankings, as I mentioned, number 9. Hayes State at number 4. Pratt ranked number 10 in 4A girls. Heston, Halstead 1 and 2 in the 3A rankings from the Central Kansas League. I said Haven was ranked 9th. They're actually 10th. The Ellenwood girls, number 8, and they played up to that ranking last night. Central Plains girls, they're number 4 in 1A Division I. St. John number 9, and Hodgman County stayed in the poll in 1A D2 girls as they are currently ranked 7th. And the comments last night on late night television. It's always on at Mike Corson's house. What's going on? Was that on the Kimmel show or what?
You didn't know that was Jimmy Fallon's voice.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon. Oh.
Had on Super Bowl champion Saquon Barkley and
explaining the tush push.
Yeah, so Jalen Hurts says that's not what we call it, but I can't say what it's called, so who knows what it's actually called. So here Saquon, first year, says, when I came here, I thought that was called the tush push, but it's not. And so Jimmy says, well, what do you do in this thing? And he's like, I'm the pusher. So it's one of the strongest guys in the league, one of the most athletic guys in the league. You can probably do some pushing back there.
So there you go. Sounds the past 24 hours.
The crowd found it to be delightful. I even chuckled myself.
Did you? Yeah. Amongst all your people, man. Amongst all your people. All right, we're going to talk Great Bend Lady Panther basketball up next. Jade Winter, Cassie Elligood, and Alex Mayers will be in. Wyatt Thompson, voice of the Kansas State Wildcats, and Jared Welbrook coming up, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. It's all on Sports Day, brought to you in part by Freedom Claims Management. Innovative healthcare plans for your business. Let them take care of everything for you from start to finish and continued support. They have you covered. And the Barton Cougar Booster Club continuing their efforts to make the Barton Athletic Department the best in the country, and Equity Bank adding value for their customers and communities. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Mike Corson. How old are you?
29, is that the going?
Oh, come on, man.
4'3".
4'3"?
Yeah. It's not my height anymore. It's an age.
More sports day after this.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Pulling acres ahead of the competition is simple. Cenex Maxtron synthetic diesel engine oils give you the smartest oil for the toughest conditions. These premium oils are formulated with EnduroVis technology and a balanced additive package to control deposits for a cleaner, more efficient engine that gives you proven durability. Cenex Maxtron diesel engine oils. Oil that runs smart.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on KVGB, brought to you by Eller Automotive Repair. They specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Time to talk Great Bend Lady Panther basketball. Head coach Jade Winter is in with us. Also, Alex Mayers and Cassie Elligood here on the program. So I have a question for you guys, okay? Is it exciting to wait and find out you've got a snow day, say as it was when you were like in 5th or 6th grade? What's the excitement level compared to that time in your life?
Yes. It's so much fun.
Is it? Okay.
I think it's the same. My little brother last night was like playing on his little PS4, and then his friends told him, and he screamed it throughout the whole house, and I was just as excited.
Alex?
Yeah, about the same. I had a couple test reviews today, so I'm just like really glad that I didn't have to do as much work.
So did you continue your preparation on the test reviews, though, even though you knew you didn't have to deal with that today?
Last night I did, and then there was like, oh, snow day, and then I was like, okay, I can put
then
it
you
away.
were out.
Yeah.
You were out at that point. Okay. So how do you handle that, Jade? I mean, with the daughter of a teacher, I've got a daughter who is a teacher, and I think they get more excited about it than the students do.
Yeah, I would say so.
But you weren't that excited, though.
No, I mean, every time I think of snow day, I think, oh, darn, we can't practice. But we can practice today, so it's good.
Well, you're still going to get your practice in, right? But the only thing was, I was ready to go to Dodge. I want to get that out of the way. I'm not really looking forward to a Thursday, Friday. I'm not playing, but I want you guys to know that it is very hard work up there talking for that long, back-to-back days. I mean, I'm going to have to drink a lot of honey and hot water and things like that. So, yeah, you're ready to go Tuesday against Dodge City. Now you got to set it back, so.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed that we couldn't go last night, just, again, to kind of get it out of the way so that we don't have to play them back-to-back so fast. And then, I mean, we do get an extra practice, which is good, but
Then again, we have to prepare for 2 games.
Yep. Okay. So 2 teams that you've seen Garden City, so we know that one girl can shoot 3-pointers pretty good, so that would probably be on my scouting report. Okay, before we get into the game, some more questions here. Cassie, who is the best wrestler in your family?
That's a tough one.
I
wanna
now you've got some experience on the young freshman, but
Yeah.
I mean, tell me about how a wrestling match goes between you and your sister.
Oh, I whoop her. She does like the moves, but I'll just. I got like the dirty stuff from my dad. You know, I go throwing a fish hook. I know the pressure points.
Okay, so you're not usually using Keisha wrestling rules then. Okay,
I'm not a wrestler. I don't have to.
Okay, so the pile driver would be. I mean, that would be acceptable. Headlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just throw in anything.
Okay, so were you surprised your sister got interested in wrestling?
Not really. Like when we were younger and we lived in Hutch, we had a wrestling mat in our basement.
Okay.
So, like wrestling was I wasn't super surprised. Like when we were younger, my dad would like be showing us moves and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So, I wasn't super surprised when she got into it.
Alex, did you have a wrestling mat?
I did not. No. My younger sister, she does volleyball and basketball and track, and she's a bit taller than I am. I mean, she could probably beat me up pretty good, but
But no wrestling mat.
no wrestling mat, no.
How big was this mat, Cass? I mean,
So-
did it have like a circle? I mean, was it like
Yeah.
a regulation mat?
It was like, like in practice, like their little live circles.
Yeah.
So it was just like one of those. It was pretty big though. It was a pretty good size.
So was your pop happy when girls wrestling became such a big thing?
I think so. He'll like take videos of Micah, and he found an app where he can like voice over it. So in the morning when we used to ride to school together, I'd be in the car and it'd just be like, "You gotta do this move and you gotta fix this," and da 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 da. And I'm like, Micah, turn that off.
Well, are you getting tips from him on volleyball and basketball?
Wrestling's more his specialty.
Okay. Are you okay with that? Or
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're over it now.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. I won't stay on that subject. I don't wanna... All right, Jade, you got Dodge City coming up tomorrow, and opportunity for your team for sure.
Yeah, I would say so. Just watching film, watching kind of what they do and comparing them to us, it's easy to see where we can be successful. But then again, it's also easy to see that if Dodge gets hot, they can keep going.
Yeah, they like to shoot the three-pointer, don't they? Well, I guess 2 players do.
That's every team that we play.
They can shoot them, they've got to make them, and, well, some of those teams have made them. Cassie, you look at this Dodge City team, I'm sure they're thinking the same thing. This is an opportunity to get a victory,
Yeah.
but you got to go out and do it. I mean, your thoughts going into this game coming up tomorrow?
I feel good. We've been having some good practices, and I know after the Hayes game, we felt good. We felt like, okay, we got this. And then Liberal, I think we expected to do a little bit better. So I think we got a fire ready, like we're ready to go. And this is a game that we can win, and we're going to go in expecting that.
Alex, what are your thoughts going into this game? Kind of the same thing. I mean, because Dodge City's, well, we've got Gray Bend coming in, and we can get them. So your thoughts on taking on this Dodge City team?
Yeah, no, just excited. I mean, yeah, we're ready to get a win. I feel like we're pretty evenly matched watching film. I mean, today for practice, we're getting a lot of shots up, so going in excited, ready to go.
Okay, and then Garden City on Friday, what do you remember about the first game? I think what probably we all remember a little bit. But,
She can shoot threes.
She can shoot threes, but again, that's a team that you played with a lot during that thing. So besides the three-point shooting, what do you remember about Garden City the first time, Alex?
They have a couple good ball handlers, good posts, but honestly, I feel like if we can get a good defense up and we can execute on our offense, I feel like we will be pretty successful.
Okay, Cassie, what are you thinking?
Gordon was just a game where we missed a lot of things. There was like I don't feel like we made corrections in the moment, and now we know those corrections. We know we need to be out on our three-point shooters. They don't have a super big post on the inside, so me and Shauna definitely need to step in, and we need to play a big role in that. And I think we're a little bit more prepared this time around.
Jade, what are keys to a win against Dodge City coming up tomorrow?
I would say to push the ball in transition and limit our turnovers.
That's it?
For Dodge, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you guys get that scouting report there? Yeah.
I think we'll be able to score if we have the ball in our hands.
Okay.
And if we turn them over, then can't score.
Okay. Well, we'll see you guys out in Dodge City on Thursday. Then we'll see you in Garden City on Friday. And don't you feel a little bit cheated, though, today? I mean, Cass, you don't have that many more days left of school. And one of them was torn from you today by having a snow day.
I'm not complaining.
You're over it?
Yeah.
No.
I got plenty more.
Okay.
We still got a ways to go.
Oh, all right, very good. Hey, guys, thanks for coming in today. Good luck tomorrow. We'll see you in Dodge City.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we'll talk Kansas State Wildcat basketball. Voice of the Wildcats will be joining us, Wyatt Thompson. That's next.
From the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today we want to give a shout out to all the supporting cast at these basketball games. We have some great young men and young women on the court, but we also have some great young men and women playing their instruments, cheering, dancing, all those things. Let's clap for them. When they perform and get done, let's show them a round of applause, show them some love as well, because they deserve it. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
Barton Community College's natural gas program gives you the skills and training you need to succeed. Current student Easton chose Barton to get him ready for the field.
I chose natural gas because I saw all the different type of hands-on work that they do. The technology is top-notch. Instructors are very knowledgeable of everything. Anybody interested in a career in natural gas, I really encourage them to come here to Barton. My name is Easton Juneau, and I'm a Barton Cougar.
Learn more at naturalgas.bartonccc.edu.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs, it's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on a Wednesday. Steve Webster with you. Our show brought to you in part by the Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. Also, the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend. Large or small, they take care of them all. And by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. Joining us, voice the Kansas State Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. And I know that, I know he didn't say this, but I'm sure Ron Mason down at Marmy's is claiming to say this, that right after K-State went through a 6-game losing streak, they were going to win 6 straight in a row, and that's what they've done, Wyatt Thompson. So, Ron Mason is on it right now. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, and it's so fun to hear you intro me here and talk about the Marmys and all of those streets that I'm quite familiar with from my time there. That's a good feeling, man, and we've had some pretty good feelings here lately in basketball, too. You described it well. I don't know if anybody actually saw it other than your bud there, going from a 6-game slide to a 6-game winning streak and beating teams like Iowa State and Ames, and Kansas at home, and Arizona at home, and Arizona State on the road. Has been a great run.
You see this, you've seen it before, but we'll talk about that. But sometimes you'll see a team, get on a good roll, and it's kind of schedule driven, You kind of get an easy part of the schedule, but the 6 wins in a row against against 4 of those against ranked teams. This is quite a run they're on right now.
It is. As an example, you start league play, Cincinnati at home, right? And then you go to Oklahoma State, TCU and Oklahoma State, and you're thinking, hey, that's pretty good. But then when you lose at TCU and Oklahoma State and you go from that first win to 1-6, it's like, oh boy, right? And I just have to salute Coach Tang and the staff and this group of guys. Give them credit. It took them a while to figure some things out, but now that they have, I think a lot of people are starting to talk about them in terms of what they have done, how they've done it, and just how consistent they've been after being, I think, a team that you were pulling your hair out of early in the year with all the inconsistencies that they've had. I've been here 23 years, Webby. I don't know that I've seen one quite like this. This is remarkable, really.
Okay, so they beat Arizona last night, and, of course, that was for number 6, 73-70. Is there one thing, I don't know, what turned this thing around for K-State?
Well, I think there are a few things on the table. Probably the biggest thing for me is with effort on both ends of the floor. Secondarily, I think they have simplified some things offensively, which has helped them. And then probably just, I've said this before, they're a really good team when everybody is doing their part. They don't have, a superstar type guy, but they've got a pretty good group of really quality players. David Gasson, Max Jones have been, without a doubt, the two most consistent guys, probably followed by Coleman Hawkins. But now you've got Doug McDaniel playing at not just a different level, but a way different level, right? Hawson's been up and down, but more consistent, and not just as a three-point shooter. His defense has gotten better. And now you even go deeper than that with C.J. Jones and Moby Ike-Garuka here lately. Those guys have been good, too. So you get 7, 8 in the rotation. That's what you want. Defense has been rock solid. I mean, I can't describe to you how I think they're defending right now effort-wise. They were a porous rebounding team when the season began. They're competing there. I mean, they just are. And with Doug's point guard play, you know this, in major college basketball, man, you better have a point guard that can go get it and play. And he's just so different now than he was when the season began. And I think whatever happened between him and Coach Tang, they finally reached the middle ground, whatever that was. It's been awesome.
I guess, and of course, K-State fans, because you're trying to get into the NCAA tournament. They started winning, some more games for sure. So I guess Wildcat fans say, well, why didn't they do this earlier?
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of reasons why, to be honest with you. I've said this before, too. When you have 11 new faces from the portal and you start the 1st of June and start playing the first part of November, that's not the easiest thing to do. Some do it pretty well. They mesh, easy, handily, whatever you want to say. Others, it takes a little bit more time. I add to that the fact that, they're probably asking a couple of those highest-level players, Doug McDaniel, who was from Michigan, Coleman Hawkins, who was from Illinois, to play a little differently than they did in their last stops, and it's taken some time. As an example, early in the year, they just kept preaching to Coleman, you got to score, man. We need 20 out of you every night. Well, truthfully, he's probably not necessarily a 20-point-per-game scorer every night, but they've moved him a little bit closer. They've moved him around now. He's an elite passer at 6'10", and now I think he's figured out he can score 12 to 15 or 16 and occasionally hit 20, but also have 5, 6, 7, 8 rebounds, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 assists, those types of things. He had a game with 5 block shots, so he's just kind of a stat stuffer right now, and Max Jones is too. Max doesn't get a lot of headlines, but he's been solid. So I do think that they've made a ton of progress, maybe just a little differently and a little slower than everybody wanted.
I want to go back to Doug McDaniel because you said that whatever he and Coach Tang worked out, it's working. What do you think it was?
Well, I have a pretty good feel for what it is. I think, again, Doug when he was at Michigan with Chris Webber, he was pretty free-flowing and can kind of do whatever. Here it's a little more structured. Coach Tang has wanted him to be more of a leader, a vocal leader, a guy that kind of is the head of the floor on both ends. I don't know. I think Doug probably, frankly, resisted a little bit of the defensive effort early on, but now he's all bought in. So there's a lot of things on the table. His decision-making's better. His shot selection is better. He's a very, very talented player. No question about that. But he's just, I think his approach is better. His mental state is better. His numbers are better. He's done a really good job. And, at some point when you start to see, when it starts to crack, right, and you kind of see it, then there's a little surge. And I think that's it. I think finally Coach Tang reached him, and once he started to see it, I mean, we've seen pretty good efforts out of him here lately.
C.J. Jones hasn't started a game in Big 12 play, but he always seems to come in and do damage right away. Talk about his game and why he's been able to impact the game so much when he comes in the first half.
He's another guy, and you mentioned that. He was a starter early when Doug was not. And I think he loved that. And I think he went through a time when he lost the starting job where he was a little down, probably lost some confidence. But now he's embraced the role a little bit more. He's a really good athlete. And I think just for him, I go back to that word that I used earlier with just the entire team, just the effort and the attention to detail with the scouting report and those types of things. He's skilled enough. If he does all of that, he's a guy that can help. I don't know if they beat Arizona without his 10 last night, to be real honest. So he was a big factor in that game. I also thought he played really well in the Kansas game. I mean, he's starting to figure some things out too. And I got to say this too, while we're talking about guys that have made leaps. I mean, Moby Ike Garuka, nobody even knew who he was in the beginning because he had a family issue early in November where he had to leave town, got kind of behind, then he came back, hurt his foot, and just now I think he's kind of starting to kind of be where he needs to be and what have you. And you've seen it. He's an electric athlete, really, really good. And if he gets that year back from the junior college rank, and he's here 4 years, I'm going to like that a lot.
I don't know. This stuff's crazy right now. So, yeah, I was going to ask about Moby, but to say his last name again.
E.K. Garuka.
E.K. Garuka. Okay, yeah.
Garuka, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's just known as Moby if I was doing the play-by-play. I mean,
yeah. But you know what? I called him just Moby, and he's good with it.
Okay. Well, that's good. David Gasson, talk about the improvements you've seen since the beginning of the year because he's become a big force for K-State.
Well, I'm probably most happy for David of all of the guys, and in part because he's just been here a long time, and then secondarily, had you told me his first year here, in his senior year, he was going to be a 13.78 rebound a game guy, I'd have said, you're nuts.
Yeah.
No chance. He has improved as much as anybody I've seen in a while here, and we've had some pretty good players here. Last couple of summers, he's played international basketball representing his home country, the Netherlands, against what I'll describe, I'm not trying to be funny, but I'll describe as pros and grown men. And it's made him a lot tougher. He's gotten stronger. The fact, too, that I know he plays close to the basket, but, you know, he's the field goal percentage leader in the league, like at 64% or 63%, and the next guy is like 55 or 56. It's not close. And I just love the way he cuts, his athleticism. He's a good passer. He can handle it. He'll hit an occasional three. He just brings a lot of things to the table. Good player.
And just think that he'll probably never want to have an alumni party of all the players that he's played with because it would cost him a lot of money, right? I mean, he's played.
Yeah, it's a good point. But you know what? You've heard the term persevere. For me, when I think of perseverance, with this group, I think of him because he is the guy that's been around here for a while, and he's so motivated to have his last season be a really good one. And as we know, it didn't start the way he wanted, and yet he's hung with it. Now they're starting to see some, fruits from their labor, and I couldn't be happy for him.
Okay, you're familiar with this grind a little bit because you've gone through it before, I believe. I mean, because now they go west at BYU, they're at Utah, home to Arizona State. So now you lost 6, you won 6, you get up over the hill, you think you take a deep breath, then you slide back down again. You don't want to do that right now, but those aren't easy trips out west to Utah.
Well, and let's be honest, they didn't have the non-con they wanted, and it was probably a little bit weak on some of the opponents anyway in terms of the net and the Ken Palm and just all of those types of, services, metrics, whatever you want to say. So they have to have a good conference season. There's just no question about it. They've put themselves in a position to at least be talked about now where nobody gave them two thoughts, 3-4 weeks ago. So I credit them for that. But I know they'd love to make the tournament. but I think they have found out if we just pay attention to what we're doing today, it leads to better things, and I hope they stick with that. This is going to be hard going to Provo, dude. I've been there many times. It's a terrific basketball facility. It's almost 18,000 seats. It'll be packed. BYU just won last night at West Virginia. I don't think they're as good as they were a year ago, but that doesn't mean they're not a pretty good club. They've got a one-and-done guy at the point guard in Yegor Dimon. They've got legitimate talent. But with that said, and I'm just going to be blunt about this, if K-State plays to optimum level or close to optimum level, they can win this game. Question is, can they do that? And it's as simple as that.
You watch that mascot of theirs? Does he do fire and stuff inside, or does he just hold that for the outside football games?
No, I think it happens. Actually, the truth is, I didn't really. Back in my Colorado State days, I didn't notice that as much as I do now, for whatever reason, right? And that dude, whoever he is great at what he does.
Yeah,
he gets their fans into it so much. I remember when we were there for football. Once they got cooking, he was everywhere. And basketball is really I can't stress this enough. That is a really, really fun basketball atmosphere. You got your Allen Fieldhouses and your Hilton Coliseums and some of those types of places in this league, but BYU is pretty darn good too.
Okay, before I let you go, just thoughts on Matt Wells taking over the offensive play calling and coordinator job for the K-State football team.
Well, I'm really excited for Connor Riley to start with. I don't want to lose him, but Coach Kleiman told me the other day, he said, "Why, I've worked with him for 12 years. I knew this day was coming at some point, and we'll be all right." And I wish him the best. But I'm also excited for Matt because he's been a head coach at a couple of different stops. He's coached guys like Jordan Love, the Packers quarterback. I think he's a really good offensive mind. I think he'll be good for Avery Johnson. So that will be, I think, a pretty seamless transition. And I think there will be a few tweaks to what they do, but not like a complete overhaul. I think the terminology stays the same. He'll add a few of his wrinkles, but I'm excited for that. It should be a lot of fun. And you know how we start the year. We start training camp in late July. It sounds like an NFL guy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
We start camp in July, and we play in Ireland against Iowa State on the 23rd of August. That's going to be the wildest thing ever.
Are you going to do the game in an Irish accent?
I don't think I'm that talented. Could you do it?
Well, no, probably not.
Yeah. That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
Well, okay, I guess so. So you're a big-time announcer. You're at work today, so let everyone know what goes on a big-time campus on a snow day.
Well, I'm sitting here looking out my office window towards the football field from south to north, and I see a plowing off the concourse there in front of the Veneer Complex. And I got here about 8 o'clock, and those guys have been doing this and it's kind of stopped snowing now. There's very light snow, but those guys, when we had that 14-inch snow, I couldn't believe some of the numbers they were talking about. Just in the removal costs and the salt, the treatment stuff. That's above my thought process, generally speaking. I'm trying to be able to say Yegor Dimon and, some of the other guys in our league, Hosseini Traore and things like that. Not snow removal, right? So I guess what I'm saying is I appreciate those guys' effort because they work their tails off at it, and it's not easy. And it's very bitter cold out there. And
you're the only guy there, right? Is it? You're in the office in Bramlage.
Crew, I haven't seen anybody else. I hate to be that arrogant and say I'm the only guy here, but it is a possibility, if I'm being honest. Because last night, even before the game was over, they had canceled classes for today and that. So, it'll be a snow day for most of them.
How cool?
And I won't be here all day either.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, how cool is it to just walk up to an arena and pull your keys out and walk in, be the first one there, and know that you got the run of the house? You can probably go down. There's probably hot dogs still down in the concession stand if you want to get lunch.
Yeah, I wish I had a key to that spot. They don't even give me that. No, I'm kidding. I need a hot dog like any kicked in the head. But no, it's kind of fun because I come in here, you know this, I come in here on Sundays during the football season and the basketball season, at least for a little while, maybe 2 hours to 4 to 5 hours, depending on the scenario. And I kind of like, the fact that there's not very many people around. You can get a lot of work done when you're not bugged, all the time. Right?
Yeah, what
That's probably the way you look at it too, don't you?
Well, yeah, there's the only good thing about COVID was where there's only 3 people could get in the building for like 6 weeks or 6 months. So, yeah. Yeah, what a workshop to go tinker around in. So, hey, well, I appreciate the time today. And, if you get bored, go out and help them fellas clear some snow, and we'll talk to you very soon. Appreciate you.
You got it, brother. Great talking to you, man. Good to talk to you, brother.
All right, Wyatt Thompson, voice of Kansas State Wildcats, with us on Sports Day.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Ryan, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
If you're needing a healthcare plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Some people call him Gerard. Most people just call him Grr. It's time for Tiger Talk on Sports Day with the voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers. Here's Gerard Wellbrook.
Gerard Wellbrook joining us on the show. The only man has never shoveled his own driveway because everybody just is so happy they live around Gerard that they do it for him, man. How about that?
That wasn't the case when we had 9.5 inches of snow in January. No one helped me, so.
You haven't got your own snowblower yet? I
don't, boy. I seriously thought about it after that early snow, but I haven't yet.
Well, then you can go get one, and then you can do your driveway, and it's so much fun that you go do everyone else's.
I probably would. It does look like fun.
Yes, it is. Okay.
It looks very satisfying.
You had more snow than we did. What, like 4 or 5 inches? Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's powdery. It was not too bad to get around, though.
All right, very good. I have not ventured out of the Eagle Media Center yet today to go home and see what. The bad thing is when you get there late, people drive into your driveway and there's cracks.
And I was worried about that. Yeah, it's harder to do.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk Tiger basketball right now. Fort Hays women continue to progress quite nicely right now. 20-2, Gerard, on the season. They're 11-2 in conference, picking up a couple wins last week. Northeastern State. And Arkansas Fort Smith at the Coliseum. Talk about the way they're playing right now. Looks like, let's see, 2, 4, that's 7 in a row by the Lady Tigers.
Yeah, played pretty well right now. And those two games, what stands out, they got off to tremendous starts. Just blitzed their opponent, got out to a big lead, and they kind of maintained for the last 3 quarters, had big first quarter leads, and sometimes, it's harder just to continue to play at that pace, but they got so many transition baskets. It was fun to watch, and that's the one thing this group has done well, and Fort Hays has done well, but this one especially. They run the floor so well, and they turn a lot of steals into easy breakaway layups. Kate Bilsaver, and when Tony Hobson recruited her 5 years ago, it's like, hey, her motor never ends, and he's so right. I mean, you have all that energy to start a game. She's the same way in the final minutes of the game. And a lot of times it's get a steal, just throw the ball up the floor, and Fort Hays State's going to beat you back, and they're just going to get easy layups. Even Olivia Hollenbeck, their post, runs the floor so well for a big. She gets a lot of easy baskets, and that's what Fort Hays did early, and then just maintained it. Played pretty well, though, all the way around, and I think offensively they're starting to get back to where they were before Christmas when I thought they were playing their best. And so, I mean, you like the signs, maybe starting to peak at the right time, starting to play their best basketball at the right time. And they're going to have to because their biggest games are in the last week and a half, 2 weeks of the season, which is not too far away. So yeah, it was a good weekend for them. And, 2 losses, just trying to keep pace. It's going to be a battle. There's a lot of really good teams this year in the region for who even gets to host a regional. Fort Hays is in the mix, but I think they have a lot of work to do to get there. They're just trying to win a conference championship right now.
Who are some of those region teams that they're vying for this home site with?
Well, Concordia St. Paul is having a good year. Obviously, Pitt State is having a good year. They're undefeated in conference play. They have only 2 losses. It's interesting, in the MIAA, they use what's called a KPI. It's a weighted index. They use it for volleyball because the schedule is set up by divisions, even though they don't keep the standings by divisions. And it's clear the North has been better than the South because number 1, using the index, is actually Missouri Western. If the tournament started this weekend, they'd be the 1 seed. Fort Hays would be the 2, and Pitt, despite being undefeated, would be the 3. But Western's 2 wins over Fort Hays State obviously carry a lot of weight in Fort Hays State. So anyway, but those I think of the top 3. There's a couple of others in there. And again, like Fort Hays State, you go out and you beat Pitt and you play Kearney back-to-back the final week of the season. You win those 3. If you don't stub your toe before then, you're obviously that just changes the whole dynamic of your strength of schedule. So we'll see. A lot of basketball still to be played, but it's kind of getting close to that time of the year where you can start looking at that. And I believe there should be a media. It's not ranking, but not media, but the NCAA regional, just the list of considerations where they put 10 teams alphabetically.
Okay.
I think that comes out this week, and then they'll have the rankings after that.
Okay, Tiger men now 15-7 overall. They're 8-5 in conference. Shook off a 3-game losing streak. They had to get a couple wins at home, and that's what they were able to do last week.
They did really hard-fought victories. The Northeastern's good. They were, in the hunt for second place with Fort Hays State coming into the game, and it was a battle all the way throughout. Fort Hays found a way, and then Fort Smith, the newcomer. I don't know how they have only 9 wins. I was impressed. They've got some talent, and it was a back-and-forth battle. Fort Hays State, about the 10-minute mark, pulled away a little bit and got a little separation and made some big shots down the stretch and then hit a few free throws. But those were that's the MIAA. I mean, there are no easy wins. Even teams that come in, 9-12, 9-13, they're capable teams. And I think that's where the MIAA is different than a lot of other conferences. The lower half, even though they don't win a lot of games, you watch them play and it's like, that's for Emory Center in the air. How's this team won 9 games and only 3 in conference play? Wow. I thought they defended well, and Fort Hays needed everything they had. But, I mean, that's this team. They have a lot of inefficiencies, but they find a way to battle. And one thing they never do is not give complete effort. I mean, they will play to their heart out, and sometimes it's not enough because they're just maybe not good enough in some areas, and they're battling some injuries. But they're getting, they're finding a way. And R.J. Crawford has had a back issue for a year and a half. I think he's to the point he's just like, you know what, this is it for me. And he gutted it out. And then, his numbers maybe didn't look good, but I thought he was the MVP all weekend for what he gave them. Just going out there with a bad back and kind of saying, I'm going to leave it all out there and see what happens.
Okay, Arkansas, Fort Smith. I know my knowledge of Division II has been chipped away out over the years, but I don't even remember where'd this team come from. They weren't like the Arkansas Tech, Central Arkansas gang, and Monticello's and those. Were they?
No, they weren't. And they were in the Lone Star for a long time. But I have to go back. They were not Division II. They're relatively new. Not as newer than those schools. And then they were in the Lone Star. They were in when Newman was in the Lone Star together. And I think they may have even been in the Heartland. I have to go double check that. So, and then when that broke up, they went to the Lone Star, and even though they're traveling, the MIAA isn't great. It's better than it was in the LSC. So, it'll be interesting. Fort Hays will go there next year. They've got a nice basketball arena, from what I've been told, so that'll be neat. But they certainly look the part, and their women are having a good year. They've been really bad for about 7, 8 years, and they came in with 13 wins. So they certainly look capable. They're in a good location for recruiting, and I'm curious if that will help some of the other MIAA schools now, because you kind of open up that Arkansas footprint a little bit if that gets you in the door, because there's some good high school basketball down there.
Okay, you go to Emporia tomorrow, and then in Wichita to take on Newman. And I don't know how Emporia State draws anymore, but White Auditorium was always one of my favorites. Not really maybe to go in because it was such a tough environment because it's so stinking loud in there. What does that remain today?
It does. I mean, they haven't been as good, especially on the women's side, so I think it's hurt their attendance. But again, as you know, it doesn't take many to be loud, and it's still a home court advantage. And they're playing better. Both their teams are battling to get into the MIAA tournament, and very capable. And Fort Hays blew both of them out when they played in Hays, eons ago. It's going to be a much different game. You're in that time of the year, everybody's figuring out what they're playing for. Obviously, Fort Hays State women, they're playing to maybe host a regional, win the MIAA. Both Emporia teams are trying to get into the MIAA tournament, so you're going to get their best effort, and they're certainly very capable. And you look at their games; they have played with everybody. Nobody's blowing them out. It's just a matter of winning, and we'll see. Hopefully, Fort Hays State can put it together and play well. Traditionally, they've played pretty well in that building here in recent years. Hopefully, that continues tomorrow.
Have a good road trip. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Jared Walbrock, voice of the Fort Hays State Tigers, giving us a Tiger update today on Sports Day. Back with our final segment right after this.
See any doors? This is Eddie.
Papa, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
Well, Hadley, February is the month of love, and nothing shows love like a new garage door.
You're not just saying that because you own the company, are you, Papa?
Well, maybe a little, but honestly, a new garage door can really brighten up the home.
So, what are you getting Mima for Valentine's Day?
You go, Hadley.
C&E Doors. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison, Great Bend.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of Your Local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Step into the spotlight with Barton Community College's theater program. Whether you dream of performing on stage or creating magic behind the scenes, Barton offers hands-on training, expert guidance, and creative performance opportunities. With top-tier facilities and a supportive community, you'll develop the skills to shine. Turn your passion into a career and start your journey to the stage at Barton. Learn more at theater.bartoncccc.edu.
All right, back on the show tomorrow. We'll talk to Kyle Cree before his team heads to Dodge City to take on the Red Demons. Also, Ellenwood basketball coach John Lane will join us in the Mayo Money Management studio, talk about his team's recent play. Had a good game against Central Plains, come up short. He's going to be joined in the studio tomorrow by seniors Landon Simpson, Tavion McCaffrey, and Campbell Coleman. And Mike Horsnell will have an On the Prowl segment for you, talking with a couple of Great Bend Panther boy wrestlers. That's going to be on the show tomorrow on Sports Day here on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.